Welcome back to AgweekTV. Of course, one of the most popular seminars here at the Northern Ag Expo is the topic on the weather. Joining us now is meteorologist Daryl Ritchison. And Daryl, you are the interim director of NDON. And of course, I know you talked a little bit about the long-range forecast, looking into 2016 and 17 winter and even farther beyond that. So first, let's start with the winter. What are you expecting?
You know, a lot of the forecasts for this winter, because there's a La Nina, equates to cold. But the thing is, not all La Ninas are the same. And the way this one's setting up, really to me, does not set itself up well for extreme cold. The thing is, people have to remember, the last two winters, we've averaged about 6 degrees above average, phenomenally warm winters. I really have thought this might be an average, maybe even 1 degree above average type winter. Still harsh in comparison to last year, but I don't think, you know, some of the forecasts I've been hearing 2-3 degrees below average make a lot of sense for me. But even if I'm right, it will feel like winter after being, all of us, to be honest, you know, got a little spoiled the past couple of winters.
How about snowfall?
I was really leaning towards average, which again, if it was an average, which, you know, historically, if you look at the 30-year average, it's 50 inches. But that was because a lot of that is 1996-97 skewed it up. The long-term average is 40, and I always like to use 40 as my base. Say if we would see 35 to 45 inches of snow around the average. Again, it would feel like a snowy winter because we hardly had 40-45 inches of snow the last two winters combined. So again, personally I think average, but again, even average would feel tough because of course what happened the last two winters.
Okay, and I know farmers and growers are always looking forward to the spring forecast, to that all-important spring planting season. What are you seeing there?
Well, here's, you know, some of this is really common sense. The last two winters we didn't have snow, so the farmers got out in the fields early. Just throw that average snowpack on. The odds are you're not up, you know, disking on April 1st to the 5th. You know, you're not planting sugar beets on April 10th. Because of that reason alone. But a lot of times La Ninas tend to be a little colder and maybe at least average, maybe a smidge wet. Well, the last couple of Aprils have been, at least the beginning parts, really dry. So again, even if we go back to average, it's a completely different planting scenario.
Okay, and then as we move into summer?
We are so used to, the last 20 years, most summers have been 5 inches wetter than the previous. That's why we're, you know, in this wet cycle. Even if we would go to average, it would give the illusion of being drier. The corn would struggle a little bit more. So right now I'm leaning towards precipitation-wise, be a little on the drier side of average. Temperature is probably either average or on the cooler side, which would mean, say, if we were using base 50 growing degree days, if that would come true, you know, we would talk approximately maybe 200 growing degree days fewer than we saw in 2016, which would be not a huge deal, but it would bring the yields down just a little bit in 2017 if that would come true.
All right, meteorologist Daryl Ritchison, thanks for joining us here today.